Matchstalk Men and Matchstalk Cats and Dogs, the famous artist, of course, L.S. Lowry, and all those wonderful caricatures and characters that he painted over the years. Phil's our guest, not only the writer of various children's books, the illustrator and an oil paintist as well, writes play. Is there anything you don't do?
I play the guitar very badly.
Right.
I always have done.
Is there anything that we don't ask you? Are you any good in the kitchen, for example?
No.
Oh, fair dues.
Apart from baked beans on toast.
Good stuff. I mean, you said when we started to play that last song that you have like a playlist when you're working, so you play music whilst you're... How important is that to you?
Oh, it's very important. When I'm actually... When I'm writing, I don't play music, but when I'm on the other side of my room doing the artwork and the illustrations, then I have to have music, and I play all sorts, and continue making up new playlists of stuff to go on in the background.
Is there, I mean, the trouble is, with your good self, it's very difficult to work this out because there are so many different areas. Let's take your children's books. Is there somebody that you look up to, a kind of role model? I mean, you did mention Enid Blyton.
I suppose more recently, Roald Dahl, and the illustrations of Quentin Blake, which are absolutely brilliant. And I suppose J.K. Rowling as well, just because she came out of nowhere and just set the publishing world alight with Harry Potter.
How about the artwork? I mean, we played that song about L.S. Lowry. I mean, is there any great artist that inspires you?
I love Quentin Blake's work because he's a great illustrator. When I do my paintings, I try to do stuff that isn't too heavily influenced by other artists. But having looked online, I see there are other artists doing, old men in pubs in cloth caps, drinking beer.
Right.
So I'm not the only one doing that kind of thing.
I mean, you mentioned the self-publishing thing, which I guess we can understand as far as books and plays are concerned. How would you get an oil painting? I mean, is it literally just, this is my painting, I will sell it to somebody who comes in and buys it? Or are there ways of getting images of your painting out to a wider audience, do you think?
You can do it online. You could have an online art gallery. That's always one way. The group that I belong to, the Painting for Pleasure group, have recently had 2 exhibitions, one in Pago and one in Denyer. The one in Denyer was very well attended. It was at the top of Marqués de Campo. Right. And I actually sold 2 paintings, so it is possible. And they were my men in flat caps drinking beer. People either love what I do or they just say, oh, that's weird. But it's interesting that one of the guys who bought one of my paintings grew up in the same back streets as I did, and at the same time, and we'd never met.
Okay.
And we're now friends.
Fair dues. You said you've only been here, say a couple of years or thereabouts. Yeah. Is this area conducive to somebody like your good self to be sort of creative?
I think so. It's just such a lovely, relaxed place to live, and that always helps when you're trying to be creative, I think.
Okay, so the first book has been self-published, the Uncle Mongo thing. There's a possibility of some others. What is next for Phil? Have you got another big plan? Lots of little ones.
The next thing, I think, apart from all the children's books and things in the pipeline, is to work on the plays. As I say, my latest play has just been published. It's a tale of conceptual art, unrequited love, and vampires. And that, as I say, just been published, although I wrote it quite a while back now. But now I'm with Javier Players, obviously in Javier, and we're looking at the next play that I will direct next summer at the summer show in Javier. And I've got a couple lined up. One is a new one called Look Out, He's Got a Gun. Mm-hmm. And there's one called Bats, which has already been published, and that's doing very well. That's been performed and staged by quite a few companies now. In fact, that's going to be performed in Canada in May, which is quite a nice little achievement.
How do you know who's putting your play on?
The publisher tells me.
Okay.
Yeah, because they let me know that so-and-so has licensed the play for so many performances.
Okay. Okay. Phil, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you. And I have a feeling that there's a strong possibility you will be back talking to us again about other things. There's so much of it, isn't there?
Yeah. Can I just say that the book Uncle Mungo is also available at Polly's bookshop in Havierport.
Okay. I mean, obviously, you've got it. It's been published. Those people can buy it, I suppose, to read on the Kindle or whatever else.
It's only available in paperback because I don't think it lends itself to a Kindle version.
Okay.
I think it's nice to have the book in your hand.
Right. Fantastic. Okay, so all we need to do is to go on Amazon, look up Phil Mansell, Uncle Mungo and the Great Wallaby Painting Contest.
Brilliant.
Good to see you, Phil. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I'm sure we'll talk again. In the meantime, we must think about heading up for news, which we'll do, talking about a good story.